today for our Paul's pointer, we are going to be looking at Ephesians chapter 5 verse 8 to 14. So just after what we were looking at yesterday about walking in love. But today we are going to be looking at how as Christians we need to walk in light. So I'll just start by reading those 7 verses. For at one time you were darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light, for the fruit of light is found in all that is good and right and true. And try to discern what is pleasing to the Lord. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of the things that they do in secret. But when anything is exposed by the light, it becomes visible. For anything that becomes visible is light. Therefore it says, Awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. So as I said, yesterday we were looking at how we need to walk in love and to be pure when we walk in love. But today we can see that Paul is clearly telling us that we need to walk in love. Or walk in light, sorry. Walk in love was the last video. But walk in light. So Paul sees the world as black and white. As he said, for at one time you were in darkness, but now you are in light. You're light in the Lord. So from that we can see that the darkness is evil. And basically before we became Christians we were walking in darkness with so much sin in our lives, and we didn't have anything or anyone to take that sin away. And now as Christians we can rejoice in the fact that we have a Saviour that came to die for us, to take away our sins so that we can walk in light. But how can we walk in light? I know we're saved and we have a place in heaven, but we still need to obey God and walk in light. So it says in verse 11, take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. So it can be really easy to be around your Christian friends and you don't swear, don't drink, you don't talk of anything sexual or impure, you take the Lord's name in vain. But then as soon as you leave that group of friends, this is just an example by the way, but then as soon as you leave that group of friends or when you're by yourself, that might be when you start taking the Lord's name in vain or swearing or watching or doing inappropriate things. And that is when the darkness comes into our life. It mightn't be when we're in front of people who we know are Christians, maybe in church or in our Christian group of friends, but it's when we're by ourselves or with non-Christian friends, that's when the darkness comes in. And it's no good to be a good Christian in front of people who know you're a Christian and just do sinful things when you're with other people. We need to walk in light at all times. We need to conduct ourselves as Christians at all times and always try to do things that are pleasing to the Lord. And we need to try, in verse 10 it says, and try to discern what is pleasing to the Lord. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. It can be so hard, and the devil is always trying to scheme and throw things in our way so that we sin and stray away from the Lord. But it's a challenge for myself, and I know it's a challenge for so many people in the world today, but we need to ask God. So this is a challenge. We all need to ask God to help us to step away from the sinful things in our lives. And I know what my sinful downfalls are. You know what yours are. Everyone's different, but we need to ask the Lord to help us to just stay away from them so that we can walk in light and conduct ourselves as Christians, and to, again, as I said yesterday, have the Lord control what we say, what we think, what we do, so that everything we do, and we are bringing glory to the Lord, because that's what we need to do as Christians, and that we walk in light and love at all times during our life.